Hi, East Chamber. I'm Wayne Lawrence. Is owning your own business a blessing or a curse? We're going to find out today. I've got Anthony Milia with me from Milia Marketing. How are you today?
Great, Wayne. Thank you for having me.
You're a young man. Did you just start it like at 18 years old?
I did not. It was fresh out of college from Kent State when I was 22 years old.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so I'm 29 now.
29 now. So you've had it for 7 years.
Yeah, 7. We just celebrated our 7th anniversary on September 5th.
Well, congratulations. That's absolutely fantastic.
Thank you.
So tell me, what is Milia Marketing? What do you guys do?
We help businesses thrive by capturing attention. So we offer marketing solutions for small and medium-sized enterprises.
Okay. And in further detail, is it e-commerce, digital marketing? What type of stuff do you do?
Yeah. So if you think about Google Ads, SEO, email marketing, website design and development, lead nurturing, sales enablement, we handle it all.
So how did you learn that? Was it through college or did you just experiment? I found that younger people are just naturally more skilled at it because they use it every day versus me having to read about it. So tell me how you learned about it.
Sure. So in Kent State, I majored in entrepreneurship and marketing, but I didn't learn digital marketing when I was going through college. So as soon as I graduated from Kent State and started the agency, that's when I was learning as I went. So I'm self-taught in some web design and development, and then the online advertising and SEO as well. And then now we have a team that helps me do it.
So how big's the team? How many employees you have?
We have a team of 8 people, including myself.
They're all hired by you too?
They are, which is very heartwarming.
Yeah, it is for such a young person, young company too. That's good. I mean, it's growing pretty nicely.
Yeah.
And how did you find them? Did they come out of school themselves, or how did you find them?
Through LinkedIn and other job boards as well.
Okay.
So I'm a big advocate for LinkedIn jobs.
Okay.
I know a lot of people try to find new talent. So I definitely recommend LinkedIn jobs. And especially if you're able to make the salary public, just to be transparent with what you're able to afford. And it gives the potential applicant what they're getting into.
Yeah, that's good advice because I always hear from other young people or anyone looking for a job, and when they're looking for it, they have no idea what the salary requirements are or what it's going to be. And if it's public, then you know exactly what you're getting. You know what the return on your time and investment is, et cetera. So I think that's really smart. But before we get to the question. Did the people you brought in, were they already trained, or you have a training program? Were they familiar with digital marketing to a certain degree?
There's a mix. So a handful of them were trained already and they have experience. Then there's a few others that didn't quite have enough experience or the experience that I was really looking for as a trained professional. So we know that, right? But we hire based on culture fit. So not exactly, you don't need to have 10 years of marketing experience. We could train the marketing piece. It would be nice if you have it, but we really look for, is this person going to be a culture fit within our team? And then can they fit within our employee experience, because we can help, deliver that customer experience on the other end side of that.
Okay. I got to ask the question now. All right, here's the question. You own your own business, came out of school getting into business too, which is kind of unheard of, and it's starting to grow real nicely. I'm sure you're continuing to grow. Has it been a blessing or a curse?
It's 100% a blessing, and I can't see it any other way. It's something I get to do and very passionate about, wake up every day, enjoying what I do. And the other thing too is for people to sign up or apply to work for your company, it's so heartwarming. And they choose Milia Marketing out of anywhere else that they might be able to work. They choose us. And that is probably the most heartwarming feeling that I can have, is to see those applications come in and wanting to work for our firm. And this is exactly what we sign up for too, right? So we know exactly what we're getting into as a business leader. Yeah. I wouldn't call it a curse. Of course there's challenges, right? Mm-hmm. There's going to be late nights. There's going to be an emotional roller coaster, but that's what we sign up for.
Exactly.
We're here to steer the ship and provide for our team.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree 100%. As you know, I own a moving company, and there aren't a lot of people who are built to be able to go and move someone for 8 hours and lift heavy items. So yeah, when someone joins your company, there's a fantastic feeling because there's a lot of other companies they could work for, but for them to join my company, I agree. There's just that commitment and also that great feeling that, hey, out of any brand, they chose my brand. But there's also that retention part too. And you talked a little bit about that in terms of the culture. What is the culture? I mean, why do they stay with you?
That's a huge loaded question, but I could try to answer that as best as I can.
Yeah.
So we did just create an initiative for Half Day Fridays, and we did our first trial this past summer. So Half Day Fridays for the entire summer. And I think we're going to continue with that for year round as one of our initiatives to really implement that work-life balance. Because really after 12 or 1 o'clock on a Friday, I mean, how productive are those team members, right? Or with my company or with other companies, right? Mm-hmm. Are you really going to squeeze an extra 4 or 5 hours worth of like 100% performance out of these team members, or giving that time back to them and to their lives so they can do other things and enjoy their weekend and enjoy the rest of their Friday? That's
smart. I mean, by Friday afternoon, most people are thinking about the weekend anyway. And being able to take that and bring it to a benefit to your employees is a great idea. So are they working remotely, or do you have an office? What's your structure now?
We do have an office in Ohio City.
Okay.
But we mainly work remote.
Oh, okay.
So giving the flexibility of just being able to work out of your house, and really it's performance based. So if you're completing projects on time, that's okay. If you have to schedule a doctor's appointment or want to go to the gym midday, that's all right. As long as there's no other client meetings or things that are on fire, then they can have a flexible schedule.
So there was a time, believe it or not, probably before you were born, but there was a time when we had to pick up the phone, do cold calls, try to get customers that way, attend a lot of events, and that's sort of changed. The dynamics has changed. How do you get new customers? I mean, how do you go about marketing your services?
Sure. So when I first started the agency, it was really difficult, right? It's, you're trying to talk to other businesses or prospects and to try to say, hey, Wayne, let us do your website. Although we didn't have a portfolio at the time.
Right.
So it's trying to get those early birds and help building your portfolio. And at the time, what we focused on what was called the 3 Fs, which is friends, family, and fools.
Okay.
So we started building our
Wayne
portfolio.
wasn't the fool at the time.
So
I may have been, though.
Yeah.
I like that.
So we built our portfolio early on within the first 2 years. And as we started to build it, then the project sizes increased, our engagements increased, and the names and the brands that we worked with just kept on improving as well.
Who do you target, and who would be an ideal customer of yours?
Sure. So we mainly work with businesses that are at least $2 million in revenue. We've worked with businesses that are very small, one-man shops, to Fortune 500 organizations. But as we grow as an agency, our primary vertical is the kitchen and bath space.
Oh.
So if you think your countertop companies, your fabricators, your cabinetry manufacturers, that's one of our primary verticals. But we also have experience with healthcare, with higher education, with manufacturing, e-commerce, you name it. But we're really trying to tap into that, the kitchen and bath space. And I'll actually be speaking at a conference in Vegas next year. It's North America's largest kitchen and bath conference, over 49,000 attendees.
Wow.
So that'll be a great opportunity for us to connect with some prospects.
Do you find that those companies have common mistakes that you have to work through with them, or is it just all based on the individual company?
Oh, they definitely do. And across the board, just a common question that I'll ask business owners or directors of marketing is, how is your marketing performing? And the common answer is, I don't know. They might not get a report, or they get it every year. They might check in once in a blue moon. But what they should be doing, and what I recommend, is making sure that they're tracking things and what they should be tracking. So number of phone calls that are coming in, number of form submissions, where are those coming from, what marketing sources, how's the quality of the lead, at what cost per acquisition are they getting the lead for, and reviewing that on a weekly, biweekly, or monthly basis with the executive team.
Sure. Yeah. And then the decisions they make are data-driven versus just
absolutely
a guess.
Because what we've seen is that some business owners will have a shiny object syndrome, right? where they make some of these decisions with their marketing based on emotion or based on what a competitor is doing, right?
Yeah.
And that is not exactly a great strategy because you don't know how the competitor's marketing is performing.
Okay.
And you want to go based off the data that you're seeing within your own marketing performance.
So how do you keep your employees excited about what they do? Because I'm sure you have some metrics in place too. Have you turned any employees since you started or no? Have they all stayed with you?
There's a few here and there. Okay. But again, I think I'll go back to the culture fit originally. So as I grow as a leader or as a business owner, I'm still learning as I go, right? And figuring out that hiring based on culture fit was where I might have had a lesson learned a few years ago, where I was hiring based on skill more than culture fit. And then as the agency grew, I learned that maybe this person didn't fit our team because of that, because there's toxic traits or they're demanding, micromanaging, they're not fulfilling or fitting in with other team members. So that's what we look at now. And that's what I'm striving for, to make sure the team is happy and that our employee retention rate is high. I don't think that there is a talent shortage.
Okay.
I just think that people don't want to work for those companies.
Okay.
I can't that say that.
So, Anthony, what keeps you up at night? If you're up thinking about the business, which we all are 24/7 when you're an entrepreneur, you have your own company, what keeps you up?
That's a great question. I don't know. It might be just like that day, right? Like what might be happening that day or that week. Mm-hmm. But for the most part, like this last year or two, I've been sleeping fine. Right? I've been sleeping okay.
Good for you too.
I'm really trying to practice the work-life balance and not allow things or people to get in the way of that.
Well, and I think the fact that you're practicing that yourself shows your employees how important it is. You can't have an owner, in my opinion, Wayne's opinion here, who doesn't work very hard and then expect their employees to work very hard. There should be a work-life balance, and if they see you working hard, but then also being able to relax at times, et cetera, then the expectations that they can as well too. So I think that's perfect. And when you talk about that culture, I think that's the culture right there. They look at you and go, hey, I want to be like Anthony. Yeah. They certainly want to be like Anthony.
In the professional services space for us, we're very client facing. Mm-hmm. So it's also on us to set those boundaries with clients. So they're not emailing us maybe at nighttime or on the weekend, or have these very big expectations out of us to respond, the minute that we receive the email, because COVID really accelerated that. COVID taught a lot of people that everyone is always available. So we have to make sure that, Wayne, our business hours are 8 to 4, 8 to 5, Monday through Friday. Mm-hmm. And we're not going to answer an email or a phone call at 7 or 8 o'clock. Just respect that boundary.
Yeah, exactly.
Or we're going to get back to the next business day if you email us on the weekend. Yeah. So if you could respect that, we'll be able to better serve you.
I like that. And the customers you get based on them understanding that are the customers you want anyway.
Exactly.
From that standpoint.
Exactly.
Because if that expectation is different from them, then you probably wouldn't want to work with them anyway. So there's one thing, Anthony, that I've always wanted to do, and I'm completely jealous of you at this point. I'll just tell you up front, all right? And here's why. I've always wanted to write a book. Always. I don't know about what, personal life, business, et cetera. I've always wanted to write a book. And here you are, you wrote your book.
I did.
That's absolutely fantastic. So tell me about that.
So Marketing Magnifier is a marketing book that includes examples, personal experiences, interviews, just from like 7 years of experiences that I've gathered over the last 7 years. And it is great for small, medium-sized enterprises or business owners and executive teams for them to read through it. And maybe it sparks ideas for their own business for them to implement, whether it's the questions that they should be asking to their current marketing partner or their director of marketing, or what they should be tracking. So it includes all those different ideas in the book.
Okay. And what prompted you to do this? I mean, a lot of people have talked about writing books, but you actually did it. So, how'd you get there from the thought to actually execution?
It's challenging. And I launched it back in August of 2022.
Okay.
But I'm still tired from it. I'm still tired from it. So I started trying to write the book in 2018. Mm-hmm. And then I took about 2 years to try to develop it. And then I just didn't like what was coming out of the writing. So I completely scrapped it. And then I restarted in about October 2020. So I spent about 2 years to write the book, collect the personal interviews and create examples and case studies and include it in the book. And it's really to give that knowledge back to people that are seeking it, right? So they could be better marketers or make better decisions with the data that they're seeing within their marketing.
Who's the best target for a book like this? I mean, who would get the most value out of reading this?
That's a great question. So I think the people that will get the most value are companies or leaders that have at least 6-7 employees, up to about 50, 60 employees even. So I think that's who would be a best fit, where you either have a C-suite executive that's looking to read the book and implement it themselves, or they have a department of marketing or director of marketing that can learn from the book and implement what's in there.
Okay. So why don't we do this? I like to get this in the hands of those folks. So if you are in charge of your marketing department, and would like a free copy, you could contact Kai East Chamber. We're going to give 20 free copies out so we can get those out there to folks and just kind of let them get started on it. And then we want to get their feedback as well, too. So next time you're on, we're going to have them talk about it.
Yeah, we'll go
what they
through the
learned
reviews.
From it. How's that sound?
That's great. Thank you so much.
So keeping you up at night, you don't stay up too much now. So what do you do when you're not working, though?
When I'm not working, I love to travel.
Oh, good.
I like going on hikes. We do have a 1-year-old puppy. Her name is Lucy.
Okay.
She's a golden doodle. So that's like my new hobby is hanging out with her.
Yeah.
And just like really hanging out with friends, exploring the next restaurant or the next experience, right?
Good for you.
Yeah.
Do you get customers that way, out of curiosity, just through your own network?
Not quite, no.
Okay.
That's like really keeping business and pleasure separate.
Sure. Okay.
But I am trying to get into golf, and I think now saying this, I might regret that because I don't have the patience for golf, but I'm trying to because I need to develop another activity for networking.
Anthony, I could tell you just with 100% certainty that if you get into golf, that it will be your curse. Every time when people talk to you about curse, it will be a curse.
So when you have me on the podcast again,
exactly.
that will be my...
Well, everything's fine except my golf. It's a curse. No, it's, I had someone else on the podcast and we talked about that as well too. It is a great sport to get in. It's a great place to just kind of relax and get away from business as well too, but it can be frustrating. But I have an idea that you're going to be an overachiever and you're going to be scoring better than me very shortly, even if you just started. So the other part too is, it's in line with the book. Do you have another one coming, or what is your plans in the future for that?
Not anytime soon.
Okay.
So, but I will say probably within my lifetime.
Okay.
So I don't want to give myself a deadline for it, but the book has helped tremendously with just getting feedback from other business owners and directors of marketing or C-suite people. And it also has been a lead generation tool. It's the best business card that I can have, right?
And where do you see your business in, call it 3 years, 5 years? Do you get to the point where you're doing that type of planning at this point still, or just, doing whatever you need now to just make sure you retain your customers and get new ones?
Well, that's a very, very interesting question, especially because of the introduction of AI. And it's really influencing and impacting the agency or professional services industry and how we can integrate or adopt AI into our service offering in the next, 6 months, 12 months, 2 years. We have to do it. And if we don't, we're no longer to be an agency, right?
Wow, that's interesting. So that may keep you up at night.
It does. I just attended
that through
I just attended a conference yesterday with Paul Reitzer, who founded PR 2020. He sold that agency, and now he's started. He's continuing his marketing artificial intelligence conference, and he's a thought leader in the AI space. So I really have to consider, what do I do with this information, and we have to create a roadmap for it.
Okay. Which leads me to another question I was going to ask. Because I actually noticed with your book that you had a lot of heavy hitters.
I do. I do have some heavy hitters.
Heavy hitters. So how did you develop those connections, and do you have people that you can turn to for advice on how to run your business, or where do you go?
Yeah, I definitely do. So I could definitely shed light on how I connected with these individuals, and it was really the main person was John DeJulius. So when we started working with John and his firm back in 2018, he's been a mentor for me since then. And I've been able to learn from his consulting firm. He teaches customer experience consulting, customer service consulting for Fortune 500, Fortune 1000 brands. But that led me to being connected with Vern Harnish, for Jay Baer, John Rowland, who also endorsed the book.
Okay, good. What
was the other question? I forgot the other question.
Well, no, and then do you turn that network that you've developed into kind of a informal consultants, just kind of help you through the business?
Yeah, absolutely. So although we have these endorsements and they talk highly about the book, I'm also a part of Entrepreneurs Organization.
Okay.
So we have a chapter in Cleveland where we're surrounded by other entrepreneurs that are going through the same challenges or experiences that they want to share with other like-minded entrepreneurs.
Okay, good.
Right? So we really get down into the 1% or the 5% that you can't just turn to your neighbor and share how you lost $2 million or $4 million in revenue. They don't understand that.
I agree.
They don't understand how you just lost 3 employees or what you're going through. So you need to surround yourself with people that are going through similar challenges, right?
Yeah.
So you can learn from them and see how you can improve going forward.
I agree with you. That is the way I think. And even through these podcasts, one of the things I think that people hear me talk about on a regular basis is developing that network of people, not only just help you grow your business, but to help you share ideas and even talk through some of the challenges with business. Because as you said, there are many companies where it's Monday and payroll is Friday, and they're not seeing how Monday and Friday are going to come together very well financially. So, what does that mean? What do you do, et cetera? I think it's turning to that network and that group of people, which is very, very smart.
I wish I would have joined the organization years ago. Yeah. So I only joined a year and a half ago, but I've been, it's been a great opportunity for me and great to learn from those other individuals.
Okay. So if you said it's a blessing, truly a blessing. If you had to give advice to a young entrepreneur, what advice would you give them today in terms of starting their own company, or even someone who started their company and maybe they feel it's a curse at this point more than it is a blessing? What would you tell them?
I would say look to improve at least 1% a day or a week, right? You're just looking to make those stepping stones. And as you look back on that day, a month from now, a year from now, you'll see all the progress that you made. So whether it's keeping a to-do list on that week or that month and continuing to work towards those goals and having goals, right? Are you looking to make $250,000 in revenue, $1 million in revenue, hire 2 employees by a certain date? You have to have those written down, because then you're just flying blind, right?
Yeah.
And another quote that I like saying is, what gets measured gets managed. So having those KPIs and success metrics right in front of you every day, so you know what you're striving for, will help you achieve that and help you scale a little bit quicker.
I hope those who are listening and watching are really paying attention to that, because I think it's right on target. So Anthony, business owner, author, thanks for coming on. Really did appreciate the conversation. I think it's going to add a lot of value to those who are listening. And if they would like to make a comment or get a hold of you, how do they get a hold of you?
They could connect with me on LinkedIn at Anthony Milia, or they can email me at anthony@miliamarketing.com.
Terrific. All right. So I'll see you on the golf course someday.
All right.
Okay.
Thanks, Wayne. Thank you for having me.
Yep. Hey, if you like this episode, don't forget to comment, like, and share.
This podcast was made possible with the support of our sponsors. Find more ways to grow at kyeast.org.